Exactly. That's what it was timed around. And
I'm
Tim,
sure.
Tim, I've got a present for you from the festival at some point.
Oh, it's not nice.
Something exciting to look forward to.
Yes. Always a good thing.
All right.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Are we streaming?
We are streaming.
Good. Excellent.
Some of us just need to put on a talit. We'll be ready to pray. Not you.
I know. Our dog Iggy is ready.
I think Iggy's always ready for Shabbat.
Come on, Iggy.
Hi, Yona.
Hi, Granny.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Excited to see you.
Hi, Yona.
Yeah.
He's in control.
Hi, Bobby.
All right. Yona,
Oh.
can you mute everyone? And we're going to
Hi, Selena.
go ahead and start our service.
Everybody else.
I know. Hey, Yona, for the opening Nigun, can you put us on gallery view so that everyone can see each other? And then after the opening Nigun, you can pin me. Shabbat Shalom, welcome. It's good to see those of you who are joining us on Zoom. We can feel the presence of those of you who are joining us through the live stream. And at the end of the week, of course, it's always good to meet back at Shabbat and to allow our reflections and our prayers to escort us out of the week that was into a time of peace before we live in a new week. This is a very special Shabbat. It's Shabbat Shira. The reason it's called Shabbat Shira, the Shabbat of song, is because it is the Shabbat of Bishalach. Our Torah portion, Bishalach, which Rabbi Karen will teach more about later, is where we find the Song of the Sea when the Israelites cross through the sea unscathed, and when they come to the other side, they sing a song of freedom. And so we celebrate that song. Of course, we also know that there are other coincidences this Shabbat for freedom. There's Martin Luther King weekend on Monday, of course, celebrating the freedom that Martin Luther King brought to our entire nation through his leadership. Monday is also Tu B'Shvat, the new year of the trees, and of maybe as we go into this Shabbat, we can pray for freedom from overconsumption, freedom to do the right thing when it comes to protecting our earth and our world. We're going to weave lots of song throughout our Shabbat service this evening. So we are going to first kindle our Shabbat candles and then turn to more of our song for Kabbalah Shabbat. We're on pages 2 and 3.
And we invite you in your own home to get your candles out if you have, and please join in bringing in the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher ishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Shabbat Shalom. We're going to especially focus on the Psalms of Kabbalah Shabbat, the introductory Psalms that are often musical to get us into the spirit of this Shabbat Shira, the Shabbat of song, as we will add a few Psalms tonight before moving into our regular call to prayer and evening service. You can find our first Psalm on page 12 in the Siddur, whether you have an actual Siddur at home or you can find the electronic Siddur link. We'll begin with Psalm 95, Lechu Neranna, which begins, "Come, let us sing out joyfully to Adonai, to God." And we'll begin in the Hebrew and add some English as well, which we're about to share on our screen, because you've got the Hebrew on page 12 and you'll be able to see the English.
This works. Give me a second. It's a new computer and it's not letting me. Shit. Just give me a second. Now,
Do I just keep going?
yeah, why don't we just sing it and they can do the chorus. It's fine.
Oh, we're not going to do all the English because I don't have it. Can you just skip it and keep going?
All right. I have a new computer and apparently security doesn't want to let me share my Zoom screen yet. And I was not prepared for that. So we're going to go to the next psalm,
which you can find on the next page, page 13, Psalm 96. And in the spirit of Shabbat Shira, the Shabbat of song, we begin this psalm, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, sing out to God a new song. We introduced this melody about a month ago when we were back in our sanctuary. So hopefully you'll join with us and add your voices as we sing out this new song.
Shir Ladonai Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai Kol Haaretz, Shir Ladonai Baruch Shemo,
Our prayer this evening be infused with familiar words, the prayers that call us all together, as well as a new spirit, adding our voices, the prayers from our hearts as well. We'll continue to welcome in the Shabbat Bride with Lecha Dodi on page 20, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And again, a joyful melody. You've got to put your whole spirit into it, especially on the I part. So really feel that I. And
Our Hasidic roots.
yes. And we say these words: beloved, come to meet the bride. Beloved, come to greet Shabbat. On that last verse in your home, if you'd like, you can also rise and face your door and bring in Shabbat. and turn to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish leading us into our call to prayer. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba
Amen.
Be'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei
B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala u'bizman kariv v'yimeru Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olam me'amaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitbar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol rechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata namiram be'alma v'yimeru Amen. Page 28. You to join with me if you have your prayer book on the top of page 29 in the English. There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech, let us bless, and we'll join in the last line of our prayer for bringing on the evening on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravi. And keep those words in mind. We'll see them again a little later in our service. On page 32, I invite you to join in the English as well. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malachut. join with us in these words from Torah, page 36. You shall love Adonai, your God, with all your heart.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. As we prepare for Michamocha, we remember that freedom has often begun with a walk, with a step. And certainly that was true for the Israelites as they marched across the sea into freedom. That was certainly true for Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement, whether it was across bridges, across roads, one step at a time, using our feet to create a new reality. And so we're going to offer this Michamocha on our Shabbat Shira to an African melody that starts out with some English, reminding us toward where we walk. Shema, Kifat Adonai et Yaakov, Ugalo Yad Hazak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, God Yisrael. Turn to Hashkivenu, page 42, and we begin with music rather than words.
Continue to celebrate Shabbat with our reminder from Torah to keep Shabbat each week as God rested. We too shall rest, page 44.
Veshamru b'nei Israel et haShabbat, la'asot et haShabbat le'otam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Israel et haShabbat, la'asot et haShabbat le'otam berit olam. B'nei Israel, oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Israel et haShabbat, la'asot et haShabbat le'otam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Israel et haShabbat, la'asot et haShabbat le'otam berit olam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat v'hi nafash, Shabbat v'hi nafash, ben Yitzhak et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם.
We enter our tefillah, our central prayer, Amidah, also known as the standing prayer. If you would like to rise, or if you are able, page 46, we begin with our opening words, asking God to open our mouths, and we begin together. And then during the silent prayer, hopefully you can find your own song to add. Adonai, sifatai tiftachu fiya ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. We invite you to continue silently and feel free to be seated when you are ready. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, Adonai, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer, my rock and my redeemer. We invite you to turn now to page 253 as we add our prayer for health and healing to our service at this time. We especially are thinking of these members of our temple community, members of our families who are ill at this time, as we pray for their strength and their healing. And as I'm sharing these names for those who are on Zoom, if you would like to add any other names into the chat, you can, and I'll pause at the end to name any other loved ones in your hearts. Colin Monroe, Mary Lou Hole, Janet Watson, Paul Robillard, Elizabeth Hill, Enrico Mascaro, Deborah Booker, Robert Bloom, Annalise Stone, Benjamin Horowitz, Bradley Dichter, Matteo Goldman, Dan Ruggiero, Toby Weiner, Esya Rushovskaya, Amy Fasper-Kurtz, Eileen Arnone, Marilyn Breyer, Jean Sands, Roseanne Cohen, Doug Cohen, Tom Fiorino, Barry Levine, Jamie Cook, Carolyn Weil, Gary Bacalar, John G., Stephanie Davidson, Nick Fior, Sandy Grassfield, and Harvey Grassfield. I invite you to join with us in this prayer. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We share bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Again, we're so glad you are joining us this evening. As a rabbi, it is always exciting to come upon a new Jewish text that I have not seen before. As I get farther and farther away from my rabbinical school days, I have discovered this to be all the more so. Maybe you share my excitement in discovering something new, perhaps not a Jewish text, or maybe, but Judaism tells us, and there's a reason for this, to recite Shehechianu, our blessing for gratitude, over anything new, to capture that excitement, over an object, an article of clothing, a person, a special moment in time. I would like to share my new teaching with you tonight, a gem that I discovered while studying this week's Torah portion, Beshalach. And an even further blessing is that I discovered tonight that a shorter version of this text is actually in our prayer book. So if you would like to look at it, it is the reading that we read together just after our call to prayer on page 29. I've never noticed this before, but that is an abbreviated version of the text that I would like to share with you. So our Shabbat this evening, of course, has this special name that Rabbi Micah shared earlier, Shabbat Shira, the Sabbath of Song. And that name comes from our Torah portion, Beshalach, which contains the Song of the Sea, or in Hebrew, Shirat Hayam. The song of praise that was sung by Moses and Miriam and the Israelites upon crossing through the sea onto dry land. In our faith and in so many others, Shira, or song, is a powerful symbol of voice, of freedom, of identity, and hope. In the early 20th century, Rabbi Avraham Kook wrote a poem entitled Shir Merubah, the Fourfold Song. This poem was likely composed around 1917 when World War I was ravaging Europe. Russia was engulfed in revolution, and the 1918 flu pandemic was incubating. Rav Kook was forced into exile in London until after the war, when he was able to make his way to what would soon become British Mandate Palestine. His Fourfold Song, this text that I will share with you tonight, reflects the sometimes competing ideologies of secular political movements, Zionism, socialism, and universalism, while also at the same time harmonizing different voices into his soulful messianic longing and Kabbalistic unity. Here is Rav Kook's song. There is a person who sings the song of the self, and within oneself finds everything, his complete spiritual satisfaction within himself. And there is a person who sings the song of the nation. He steps out from the circle of his private concern, which he finds narrow and insufficient. He yearns for the heights. He clings with a sensitive love to the entirety of the Jewish people and sings with it its song. He shares in her pains, is joyful in her hopes, speaks with exalted and pure thoughts regarding her past and future, investigates her inner spiritual nature with love and a wise heart. And there is a person whose soul is so broad that it expands beyond the border of Israel to sing the song of humanity. This soul constantly grows broader within the majesty of humanity and its glorious divine image. This soul yearns for humanity's common destiny and enlightenment. He looks forward to its heightened perfection. From this source of life, this person draws all of his thoughts and insights, his ideals and dreams. And there is a person, number 4, who rises even higher until he unites with all existence, with all creatures, with all worlds. And with all of them, this person sings. This is the person who engages with Perek Shira, the daily song of the world of creation, and is assured that he is a child of the world to come. Then, Rav Kook adds, there is a person who rises with all these songs together in one ensemble, so that they all give forth their voices. They all sing their songs sweetly, harmonizing their melodies. Each supplies its fellow with fullness and life. They are the voice of happiness and joy, the voice of rejoicing and exultation, the voice of merriment, and the voice of holiness. The song of the self, the song of the nation, the song of humanity, the song of the world of creation. They all mix together with this person at every moment and at all times. And this simplicity in its fullness rises to become a song of holiness, the song of God, the song that is simple, doubled, tripled, quadrupled, a fourfold song. It is the Song of Songs of Solomon, Shir Hashirim Asher Li Shlomo, which is the song of the king whose very name, Shalom, is peace. I invite you to take a moment to let that beautiful poetry sink in. Why does it feel like Rav Kook back in 1917 was writing for us today? We can hear echoes of resilient faith and righteous aspiration during a time of war, of global crisis, glaring inhumanity, dramatic upheaval, and grave uncertainty. Local colleague Rabbi Benjamin Samuels observes how Rav Kook's poem was unique to his time just over a century ago, yet it is remarkable how resonant the Fourfold Song is with the conflicting ideological poles of our own time. Take a moment to reflect on how those themes overlay with today. The song of the self. A global pandemic calls upon us to take care of ourselves, to shelter in place, avoid risk, and care for our physical and mental well-being. The song of the nation. At a time of increasing anti-Semitism, we stand and sing with the people of Israel, participate and support vibrant Jewish community, education, and religious practice. Might we find in our own Jewish values the resources to lift us to peoplehood and universalism? The song of humanity. Current times remind all humanity of our common origins, vulnerabilities, and vision for a more perfect world. How can we more evenly distribute medical and economic resources? How can we hear the call to join our Jewish voices with Black lives to sing the song of humanity? The song of the world of creation. Climate change is an existential threat to humanity today. Our voices can only rise in joy and exultation when we care for our planet and all of creation. May Tu B'Shvat, the Jewish New Year of the trees, the birthday of the trees, be a reminder to celebrate and protect creation this coming Monday and all days. And finally, the Song of Songs itself. Cook calls upon us across time to appreciate the symphony of resonances, dissonances, melodies, and harmonies. Rabbi Samuel comments again, we know as surely as Rav Kook did that a complexity of challenges requires us to orchestrate a complex of solutions. Which soul, which song will you sing? Which is your song? Like the Israelites sang together at the shores of the sea, let us all strive to sing together this fourfold song, the song whose dynamic piece is found in its escalating holiness and wholeness. Shabbat Shalom. As always, our Shabbat continues tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. With our Leilad Minyan. And in the spirit of Shabbat Shira, I do want to share that Rich Lustig will be leading the Minyan tomorrow. And for those of you who know Rich, he is musical, a singer with the Zamir chorus in Boston, so knowledgeable. And he is going to be sharing some additional teachings about Shabbat Shira, sharing different melodies of Mi Chamocha, and I know he too will invite you to add your voice. We hope you'll find during this Martin Luther King Jr. weekend a mitzvah to do some act of social justice, to do your part to repair the world, and of course on Monday especially, even in the bitter cold here in New England, may we all go out and hug a tree. Please see your weekly shofar email to see all other upcoming programs. Again, we are remote for Shabbat for the month of January for now. Next Shabbat, next Friday evening, I'm delighted to share that our sisterhood will be leading us in prayer, continuing the theme of social justice. I think it's hearing the call, and members of sisterhood will be leading us in prayer. Temple member Barbara Friedman will be sharing the Devar Torah, also sharing some more stories and experiences with welcoming a family from Afghanistan into our community. Barbara and Mark Friedman have been leaders in that effort. And I'm also delighted to share that Cantor Louise Treitman, Cantor Emerita of Temple Beth David, will be offering her voice and music next week. We are going to move into our concluding prayers this Shabbat. And when we get to Motzi and Kiddush, that's a little heads up to get some wine or grape juice and challah in your home. We will look forward to seeing each other's faces on the Zoom screen, and also those who would like to stay on can take a few moments to offer some greetings and say hello to one another. If you're able, we rise now, page 282 for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, lateit pilula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we take this moment to meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We are especially remembering these members of our community, Elaine Miller, the wife of James Miller, who died in the last 30 days. And we remember these loved ones whose yahrzeit, whose anniversary of death occur this week in this Shabbat. Marilyn Albion, Clarence Austin, Albert Baylett, Audrey Davis, Selma Halperin, Joseph Heller, Jeanette Hewson, Norman Lieber, Suzanne McNamara, Rochelle Phillips, Harry Rodman, Helen Siegel, Sydney Solomon, Selma Sternstein, Nina Lee Warnick, Claire Watsky. I invite you to add any other names into the chat or to name any other loved ones in your homes. We join in Mourner's Kaddish on page 294 as we bless the source of all life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olam me'almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shloma rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for us a blessing. We're going to conclude with those last words of shalom, of peace and wholeness, and then join in our Shabbat blessings. We're going to end again in the spirit of Shabbat Shira, this Sabbath of song, with a joyful melody for Oseh Shalom. We hope you'll add our voices. And I know I don't dust the flute off that often, but for Shabbat Shira, I did.
Shkoach, thank you. It's always nice. You don't have to wait till next year, Rabbi. Oseh Shalom B'Roma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru
All right, we're going to unspotlight ourselves so we can see each other again. If you're joining us on live stream, we hope you'll stay with us for our Shabbat blessings and hopefully a warm Shabbat dinner ahead. And you can find the words for Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lemase bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim. V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Right, and if you would like
know
to
what?
unmute as well, we can hear each other's
Take that away.
voices for Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
The Tower of Babel.
The invisible grandchildren.
Right, Gidgee is waiting patiently here to get some follow.
Rabbi, what was the title of the poem you read? It was beautiful.
So in English, it is the Fourfold Song, and in Hebrew, Shabbat Shira Merubah, or Shir Merubah, Shir Merubah, the Fourfold Song, by Rabbi Avraham Kook.
Hey,
And in our prayer book, there's an abbreviated version of it, which I had never seen before.
Nice discovery. Lovely. Is that, were you thinking of something else tonight? And then when you looked at the readings?
I was just thinking about song and the meaning of song. And then I found it.
Come here. No, come here.
Good to see all of you.
Nice to see you.
Likewise. Nice to
lovely
see
to see
you.
everybody.
Where are those handsome grandsons?
And by,
Love the flute. We love the flute.
Available.
I was,
They're here.
Here.
Camera shy.
Great flute, Karen.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Karen.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
seeing everybody.
Nice to see everyone.
Tim,
Yeah.
Tim,
Stay
Yes.
safe and healthy.
are you still there, Tim?
Yes.
It's Connie. I sent you an email that I couldn't get on, and
Oh,
obviously I'm on, so disregard the email.
okay. I will. Hadn't seen